Your Humanities Half-hour is brought to you by the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.
Welcome to Your Humanities Half-hour. I'm Catherine Perry. Every year, the Northern Marianas Humanities Council gives the Governor's Humanities Award to recognize outstanding contributions to the humanities by individuals and organizations in our community. The 2008 awards were postponed due to Super Typhoon Yutu, but recently the council awarded individuals for areas such as research and publication in the humanities, research of CNMI history, preservation of CNMI history, outstanding humanities teachers in and outside the classroom, lifetime achievement in the humanities, and our guest today was awarded for the preservation of traditional cultural practices. Gordon Ichihara Marciano. Welcome, Uncle Gord.
Salamat, buenas, and good morning, Kat.
How did you feel when you found out that you were being awarded this year? Because I understand you've actually been nominated several times already.
First, I gotta say, I wasn't expecting it because I knew that we're on the board, and as you shared many times, and this year, I wasn't expecting it, Kat, honestly, because I knew that being that on the board, best that we serve our community. Well, and you and I were at the summit, and the phone call came through to our summit to Martin, and I had to go and attend it. And I just gotta say, Kat, that to be among folks like Mr. Don Farrell and Galvin, Cecilio, Uncle Vic, and Scott Russell, honestly, I did not know how to react because these are big giants. I mean, these are folks that, like Mr. Don Farrell, teacher, former professional teacher, historian, and Scott Russell, my goodness. And then Gal with all of his, in his presentation with students, and then you got Uncle Vic, man. Just sharing the stage with them, honestly, I want to say it was an experience. My humble experience and utmost appreciation to the Northern Marianas Humanities and our governor, and to 500 Cells, because I found out it was true also 500 Cells that my name was submitted, and shouts out to our community.
Well, your name is pretty much synonymous in the Marianas with the preservation of culture, as well as the promotion. If there's any kind of activity dealing with culture, indigenous Chamorro or Carolinian culture going on, your name inevitably pops up as being either a resource person to connect people who need to find practitioners, or somebody to be a part of the committee. So certainly this award is well deserved. And I dare say that the seed for this type of work was planted by your parents. Am I correct? They seem to have both been very much involved in this kind of work.
I pray for them every time, every day. I miss them. We grew up with our parents, surrounded with educators, musicians, performers. Music was always in the house with Pop. Dancing was always there with Mom. And then, it goes beyond that. There's my grandparents also on both sides, the Chamorro and the Rufalo side. And honestly, they always make sure that we always have the respect for people for the individuals that we meet, and they always share that we have to bring balance to both cultures, because at that time when we were growing up, and there was hardship, Cap, to be honest with you. Prejudice was alive, and sometimes it was difficult for us at times when you came home. You were told you were not a Chamorro because you had a Carolinian last name, and then you were told you're not a Carolinian because matrilineal speaking, your mother's Chamorro. But both parents and grandparents held us together and always told us that we had a unique culture because we had both. But we just had to make sure that we balance, and not to favor one over the other, and always look into finding ways to make sure that we preserve it, so that we know where we come from, and our kids, when we have children, our children will also always remember that they are Chamolinians. It echoes all the importance of making sure that we understand our culture, making sure that both cultures are there when we sit, and it's just not just my grandparents. It's all the elders in our community, from our Chamorro side to the Falwa side, and it extends beyond our reefs to Papa Mao, Piailu, Master Navigator, Dr. Pius Mao Piailu. Remember when we always sit together, and he always says, "My son, you have to always remind our people not to treat each other differently. They are just one Pacificanos in Micronesia, and on a small island as ours, we don't have time to be doing that to each other, hurting each other." And that's one of the reasons why, sometimes when we sit and we see others hurting others, we try to come up with a better way to approach this, because, I guess I'm just old school. And the respect is there, Cat. And I will never forget all the teaching and sharing that our elders passed down to us. I mean, it is the way today and the way we grew up back then is so different. I don't want to disregard it just because it's a new generation or what. No, I will continue to share it, and the quality of having both of them is. I see there are times they say we're different people, but I don't think so, Kat. I see a lot of connections between our people. And I don't know if I'm answering your question right, unless you want to break it down like to a 5-year-old where I can understand it better.
You might have to do that for me. Sometimes I need that. But I think I understand what you're saying, that there's a lot of similarities. Mm-hmm. There are more similarities than differences among the people of the Marianas, and for that matter, the Pacific, and for that matter, the world in general. Yeah. Well, in your professional capacity, you now serve as, I believe it's managing director?
Yes.
Of the tour company Pacific Development Inc., known to many as PDI. And you've really basically worked your way up through the ranks to now essentially helping to head the company.
When I was first brought into PDI, it didn't start off with the cultural part, but it needed. I saw that a lot of our tour agents on island wasn't catering to our culture, and I was very glad that I met an individual that saw the importance of our culture, and he also saw how we can build it to ensure that our tourists will know who we are as Micronesians or as people from the Marianas. It started, I would say, ever since Lali 4, Tatalino's house, dancing, learning how to dance the mass dance and those stick dance. I remember after schools, all of us from the village would run down to Tatalino's house, the residents there, and meet with Papa Mao or Tatalino, depending on who was there. That time to teach. Then I left off island for school. We had the opportunity to grow with our mother, and I saw the challenges of the Hawaiians in the preservation, and I saw some of them being homeless, and I saw a lot of things that questioned me, that brought so many questions to my mind. Would this happen to our people? Would one day we wake up and we're fighting for our culture? Would one day you wake up and there's no more land? And when I came home, not that I don't appreciate Polynesian shows, and most of our families are married to Polynesians, but even our families that are married to Polynesians know the importance of having to present our culture first, and having to sit with them. I really appreciate also that they also see the same vision and that we practice, and they always share that. Yeah, those are the challenges today that we face. So when I had the opportunity to work for PDI, that was the one I brought in. And then we always had the cruisers.
Sunset cruisers.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
they performed a lot on the. They performed a sunset dinner cruise a lot, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Sunset dinner cruise. So I was here as a mechanic. Believe me, Kat. Started off as a mechanic, and then after work I would go over to the sunset cruisers and help our brother Jolie, Miss Louis, Dave, and Chinaman and everybody. And so then I took the microphone and
never put it down.
I never put it down after that. And with the Japanese, Mr. Matsumura saw that and says, okay, the following day he says, all right, so you got this rolling, so now we're going to get it going. So we started building up the culture part in PDI. And PDI became recognized in the Japanese tour agents as the go-to for indigenous cultures. And the respect from the other Japanese tour companies. And I just love the way they respect each other. And then they just came together, and then that's how we started building it up. And one of the things I would say, my success is not just about me. It's people like yourself, people like Auntie Francis, so people like Rita Bata, John Gonzalez, Joe Limis, Lynn Olapai. Names can go on the list, because one person cannot be successful without the others. His success is because it reflects too also from all the surroundings of those that are there to assist and support him. I will never forget them. That's why when I received the award, I thank God and thank you, Lord, and thank the family, and I said that this award is for all the people that I came across in my life.
Our guest today is Gordon Ichihara Marciano, and we'll be back with more after this break.
Did you know that you can donate up to $5,000 to the Humanities Council through the CNMI Education Tax Credit Program? Donations from individuals and corporations qualify and can be used to offset your local wage and salary tax, BGRT, and earnings tax. Call our office at 235-4785 to see how you can support humanities programs in our community and obtain a tax credit for your donation. Sizuus Maasi, Olomai, and thank you.
Welcome back to your Humanities Half Hour. We're speaking today with the 2018 Governor's Humanities Awardee for Preservation of Traditional Cultural Practices, Gordon Ichihara Marciano. Gord, for the last several years, you've been co-host of the morning show at radio station KKMP on Saipan. And one of the things that I know people really appreciate about the show is that although often the dialogue is primarily, the discussion and the interviews are primarily in English, you always translate the key points in Chamorro and Carolinian, which is great for the preservation of the language and for those who aren't English as a first language. So another important thing that I know you've been involved in that's very close to your heart is the Chamolinian Cultural Village Inc., also known as CCVI, and the Canoe Federation. And there's actually some ties also there with Guam as far as what you guys have been doing here in Saipan. Tell us a little bit more about CCVI and the Canoe Federation and why they mean so much to you.
CCVI is Chamolinian Cultural Village Inc. CCVI was birthed out of Indigenous Affairs Office and the Carolinian Affairs Office. It happened at a time when we were building up Japan's market. And it was just a timing because as our NVA was reaching out to our community, the importance of culture, it just happened that we were developing the program, and it just tied in with NVA's also plans in the vision of culture. And we brought together folks from the different profession. From the Chamorro side, we reached out to Uncle John Gonzalez, a good friend of mine growing up. Became my uncle when he married my auntie. That's why now I have to call him Tatawan. And then you had, and with his background, being also one of the practitioners in our Chamorro culture, then I reached out to my former teacher, Mariana's history also, Auntie Francis Sablan, a good friend of my mom, also an educator. Very, she's always out there for the outreach for Pearl or all programs under the education. And I reached out to her, and she accepted. And then went over to Joe Limis, and Joe, being that he's a Sunset Cruiser, it was easy to just say,
automatic.
Brother, we got to flow this, and he came on board. So we all came together, and we're gonna be 20 years very soon, Kat. We've actually started off under Vic, the late Vic Igito. He wanted a village, but we had shared with him if we were to build a village, we wanted to make sure that was Chamorro and Carolinian, and he welcomed the idea, and we ran it for 5 years, and then after that project, we also developed the Domonaka culture exchange with the dance, which is one of the biggest festivals that takes place in August in Nagoya.
And basically what it is the local kids being taught these traditional Japanese dances and then kind of being ambassadors. And I understand our troupe is actually quite popular at the annual festival in Japan.
It's very true, Kat.
It would probably look a little bit different, but
it's one of the most popular group. Although we're not there to compete, we're honored guests.
I see.
And what I take out of that is it's not just about the exchange. but how much that city puts out for CNMI relationship on a promotional level. We did not know that they were putting in so much promotions from media, television, commemorative booklets that 30,000 was distributed. So CNMI was everywhere. And we smiled because we did not know that we actually did something good for our NMI. And that program's been going for 15 years now.
What about the Canoe Federation? What is the connection there, especially with Guam?
Canoe Federation, it's been the longest running program, more than 20 years. So how does it connect with Guam? Okay. Tony, Master Navigator Tony Pialu, who is also on the One Mass, has been going back and forth, Saipan, Guam, building canoes for our folks in Guam. It was also through the efforts of the Canoe Federation under CCVI, we welcomed the first segment to our island, I think 3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, after 300 years. The first Galidi to ever sail up to Saipan and to Rota and Tinian. And this was the organization that collaborated to bring and then work together with our Flame Tree Committee and all the stakeholders to make sure that we welcome this canoe for the first time after 300 years. Well, for our sort of followers, it's been there. We've grew up with it. We even grew up with the first landing in the 60s when, shocked us because we've thought we were the only Carolinians here, but not knowing that we have families that are beyond our reefs sailing on those small little canoes. And our canoes program has been going strong. And Canoe Federation, I would say, a lot do not know under the CCVI that the Canoe Federation program has stretched out. We need more captains. We need more navigators. Or we can say captain. Then you can move up to the next lesson of being a navigator. When I say stretched out, in just the organization itself, the men are stretched out. You got Tony Pialu at DCCA with John Mamis. Then you got Master Cecilio at 500 cells. Then you got Okeanos again. And then you got the men at Carolinian Affairs. So they're really stretched out. And that's why we need to continue having programs as such so we can build it up. Honestly, for canoe, it's I know that Guam right now, you can see the presence in Saipan because whatever we're doing here, rebirthing it has brought our relationship now much more now close ties with Guam as well. And for another connect, another way that we're working with Guam is through Auntie Francis also, because she's always going to Guam. Auntie Francis Blanc, part of Pahato Totanu, the groups that are down there. She's really well known also as one of the practitioners of the Chamorro on this side of our archipelago. But that's how we work with them. We always try to make sure that the connections on our true culture is connected from the CCVI culture experience part of it, and then you also have the Canoe Federation that is pretty much under the umbrella of CCVI. Domanac is overseen by Glenn Rubin. You have the Canoe Federation overseen by, say, Chairman Ray Tap and the seasonal seafaring families. Then you have the music, which is overseen by Joe Limis. You got the Chamorro aspect of it with the dancing, the singing, the storytelling, everything with Francis and John. So the folks that we surround ourselves is pretty much out there with the connections with our islands as well.
I want to ask, in your opinion, what are the major challenges being faced by the preservation of our cultures today, and what recommendations do you have to overcome those challenges based on your experience?
You're going to get me in trouble for this. To be honest, Kat, it hurts at times. Because, you know that it works. We know that it works for our people. One good example would be Chamolinian Cultural Village Inc. 5 years on the run, running this show. We're pumping in $250,000 a year into that village. And to just see it close, it was sad. If a program is under our organizations and NPOs, and it's helping our community grow, and it's helping the preservation and promoting it, come on and try to sit with them and make it work, rather than to just say, hey, no, it's done, it's finished. No, I'm glad that I'm surrounded with people that just share the same passion and the love and the preservation of protecting our culture, because I see in all of them not wanting to give up. Although we face a lot of challenges, we always know that there's somebody out there listening, and continue and carry on. Thank you, Hiliso Kat, Tomo Reliam, Combide to you, Pasolium, Humanities Hour. Really, receive awardee ng ibo, dedicate nga niralingir to fair, yas tolap, armasar. But, ashe individual nga sab, ese tak nga ni ba isra o feri nga kan. Ang trabaho ka sa Calferi, sa Calferi biha lalias fire, may lalias halak fish, may lalias kabalhutta busupu, ayu, may lalias kos. Ito mo lal time la prejudice, iti ilo siki amamora busubu kimatalamuan, busubu tipyo. Also, halsu, awardee ng urahawa, ibu ngaler as falir nga nira lingir armasar. Bas sin si sabolo hasuluya. Bara mas kas halsu, may ashar mas milehala, nga lehish metay so mama was kimatalamuan, was kyusha fingal was betipyo. Donc, nós somos chique, yung combinado po. Este award, by nós datig sa comunidad, by nós datig recognizato di manam kota, may naina, in man maestro, isarwano, isarwanas, ito to tasi. Taza un individual senior po success kat zangin tipod mani ita man uniquit man corazon historia niya itsetsu niya izigina rason na man gaigit sa para ta continua mo aksa na tatsu ikutrota geni kita nota tiba malefai man biya zaman biusa tiba malefaloki individuals ni mangaigi ni un lihi gyal matania atadok ni gyal guinaizania ni man malago na pumaprotehi so manatatsu ikultura estina award para Hamzu ni tototonu sa Hamzu mononoyam rason y reason to continue being push mona y preservation galon kulturata. I just want to say, Kat, we are all successful because of everyone coming together. One cannot do this alone. This is all about our community. and surrounding ourselves with the people that you see in their eyes, the love and passion for our culture. But I also ask our people to respect our culture, to respect where we came from. Something that pinches my heart on a daily, and our remains. Our remains that are stored and are not properly brought back to rest. If the scientific or whatever things are done, we need to bring them home already. Bring them home so we can bear them properly. Bring them home so we can unite and put them to rest. Because we're just here temporary. We're now the guardians. When we're gone, it'll be the new generation to carry on.
Balian Uncle Gord. Our guest today has been Gordon Ichihara Marciano. He is the 2018 Governor's Humanities Awardee for Preservation of Traditional Cultural Practices. Thank you so much, Uncle Gordon.
Thank you, Kat.
This has been your Humanities Half Hour. I'm Catherine Perry.
This program was supported by a We the People grant awarded to the Northern Marianas Humanities Council from the National Endowment for the Humanities. Any views, findings, conclusions, or recommendations expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily represent those of the National Endowment for the Humanities or the Northern Marianas Humanities Council.